Okay, let's go through the WPA2 personal, how we can secure network using WPA2 personal network. So before going to the detail of WPA2 personal, you should be understand something called four-way handshake. If you remember the last section we discussed in the client associations, once you go to the initial authentication and association request response, rest of the frames will be unencrypted in clear text. But in this time, we have to derive certain keys for traffic encryptions. If you remember well, we discussed about there are two different type of frames, what we call managed broadcast frame and unicast. So broadcast frame intended to go to the all client in the cell. So in that way, that key has to be shared with all the station in the cell. So that way you have to use a different key to the unicast traffic encryption. So in this particular process, what we said, the key generation, we generating two different keys, unicast traffic encryption key and broadcast traffic encryption key. That process is known as four-way handshake. So in this lesson, we will go through how they will generate the four-way handshake and how they will derive those keys, and later on we will go through a packet capture and understand frame exchanges in this particular process. So in this particular example in the WPA2 personal, where you configure same password on your client and your access point. So using that passphrase or password you configure, they will derive something called uh, pre-shared key, which is a 256-bit value. So that value will be using as the seed value to calculate the other key material. So normally that 256-bit key value is we known as a pairwise master key or PMK. So in this particular WPA2 personal, you have this PMK on your AP and your station. So then what happen is you will go through a key exchange for message exchange. So at the end of this four message exchange, your client and AP both get two different keys, what we call PTK and GTK. PTK stand for pairwise transient key and GTK stand for group temporal key. As you can see in the slide, this PTK is derived from five different values. Going through a message authentication code, a one-way hash function using PMK, pairwise master key, and two random numbers. One random number we call A nonce, AP number used once, and then the supplicant number used once, which called S nonce, and then we use AP MAC address and station MAC address. So in the first message, if you look at the diagram, you can see the message number one going from the AP or authenticator to the supplicant. So in that message, they will include something called A nonce. So once this A nonce value get to the client or supplicant has all the five parameters that he can go ahead and calculate the PTK or pairwise transient key. So in that pairwise transient key, actually that key consists of three different components, what we call key confirmation key encryption key, and temporal key. Actually, key confirmation key is used to derive message authentication code to provide integrity for this EAP overland messages or four-way handshake messages. Then the key encryption key is used to encrypt key key parameters within those four-way handshake. So in that way, nobody else can read those secret data. So this key encryption key is used to encrypt certain thing within this four-way messages. So then the final component for final 128 bit is called temporal key. So this is the actually key used for user data traffic encryption. So in that way, this PTK is a 384 bit, 128 bit in each 128 bit component. We call KCK, KEK, and temporal key. So when the message one comes, a nonce, so that is not protected using a MIC because this MIC value calculated using the PTK. So once the supplicant generate the PTK, so he is sending his nonce, supplicant nonce in the message number 2. So when the message number 2, he will send the S nonce. Addition to that, because now he has the PTK derived, so he has the KCK. So using the KCK, supplicant generate the message integrity code. So then in the message number 2, you will see it is including a MIC value. So in that way, when this message go to the AP or authenticator, he can validate this message has not been tampered, because um, authenticator can calculate PTK using the S nonce value, and then he can derive the KCK. So once you have the KCK, you can calculate the MIC value. So then the received MIC value same as the calculated MIC value. They know there's no tampering of the this particular message. So once message 1 and message 2 completed, both sides have the PTK, which consists of all these three different keys. So in the message 3, before sending message 3, now AP generate the group temporal key, which is the uh, key used for broadcast data traffic encryption. So in that way, it is generated by the authenticator and it will be included in the message 3. So in the message 3, this information is going as an encrypted fashion, because now both side has the K, KEK, which is key encryption key. So then traffic can be encrypted. So message 3 you send, uh, this key data field will be encrypted using KEK, and also we will adding a message integrity code, because we already derived the mix, like you can go to the mix. So when the message 3 go to the supplicant now has the GTK. So before starting data frame encryption, supplicant confirming to the AP in the message number 4, just saying that now I have both GTK, PTK installed. We can go ahead and encrypt the broadcast unicast traffic encryption. So message 4 is like a confirmation message or acknowledgement message, but again that message 4 will be protected using message integrity code. So once message 4 gone, both side will ready for traffic encryption, and you can encrypt data frames. So this GTK will be periodically refreshed. So in that way, everyone in the cell get a periodic update. So sometime you will see message 5 and message 6 or two separate frame to update these messages. So that means AP will be periodically sending the refresh GTK to all the client. So that's what we call a four-way handshake. So in the next slide, we will go through how four-way handshake being in use in the WPA2 scenario. So as you can see here, uh, both side, if you configure a same passphrase or password on your AP and your supplicant, so they both have the same PMK value. So this PMK value calculated again, as you can see here, it's a password based key derivative function. You can, as long as you know the passphrase you use and SSID being in use, then anybody can calculate this PMK value. That is the drawback of this WPA2 personal method. Whatever the password you use is actually directly related to the PMK value. So anybody know the SSID name and the passphrase, they can calculate the PMK and they can decrypt the traffic. This is the drawback of this method. We will go and have a look in a wireless capture how you can decrypt as well. But the frame flow point of view, if you're familiar with basic frame, 6 frame exchange, probe request, probe response, authentication request, authentication response, association request, association response, in this time before client has to eh, start the encrypted traffic communication, both sides have to derive these PTK and GTK. As you can see here in the green color, you will see that four-way message, four-way handshake frame exchanges, message 1, 2, and 3, and 4, which we looked at detail. So once that finish, you will see traffic will be encrypted. In this particular time that the DHCP DORA process, you will not able to see in clear text. But as we said, because this encryption key or PMK can be very easily derived. So as long as you know that, we can include that into Wireshark or any wireless analyzer, you can decrypt this particular. That's the drawback of the WPA2 personal. So let's see in a packet capture what you see. So we will go through this particular packet capture, but again, before going to the analysis, you can see here in very clearly probe request, probe response, authentication, and association request and association response. You will see in a different color these four messages, sometimes we known as EAP overland. So where the four frame exchange just to derive the key. Once you derive the key, you can see it is saying QoS data. But if you look at a particular frame number 182, you will not able to see in the detail. But before go to the frame number detail, let's see how the security method being advertised.